my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. Okay, so follow up. I had lots of great feedback on what binding color you would use on the two quilts. And so here is Beautiful Morning, and I am gonna go with the green. I'm gonna go with the green because of it being a little bit wider border. What did I cut that? Let's see. That is actually, yeah, it's a 5-inch border. And so putting this on, you know, sort of keeps it that vision of that wide border. So that's what I'm going to go for on this quilt. And let me just show you, I'm going to take the close-up camera because I'm not sure you could see the quilting as well on the last video. So I just want to show it to you up close because it's very cool. Hold on. So here it is. It is this really cool fan, and that is repeated, and then it's a drop repeat. So you can see like they're nested into each other, and it's very dense. This is a tight pattern, and I just love the way it looks on here. What I am going to do, because I want to enjoy this quilt for a little while before it is given to somebody, I am going to get the green binding on it next. That's the next one I'm going to do, and then hang it in my hall where I go up and down the stairs, the stairwell. You've seen that picture, that place a lot. So I'm going to do that. This is made with my birdsong fabric, and the full quilt, this is like a smaller version of the same pattern. But you can get this kit. There's maybe like 12 kits, 15 kits, something like that left. There's still a few left. And so if you want to pick that up, I suggest you do that pretty soon. And you could do a wide border on the full size, or you could do a smaller size like I have here. Now I am excited to enjoy it for a little bit. So that, and this binding won't take long to do. So that will be a fast one I'll do on the machine and get that up. Okay, the other one I showed you was the holiday hoopla. And here is the quilt. And I was talking about either the chocolate, like the dark chocolate brown that's in some of the patchwork, or the gray, which is my Promise Me. So I have decided on, did you guess right? Did you? Gray. I'm going to do the gray on here. I think that'll look really nice, and it'll repeat that border around the blocks. So that'll give that, a repeat feel to that, since there's no inner border on this particular quilt the way it's designed. So I think that will complete it really well. Okay, what else do I have here? Well, I did sew long sections of Scrappiness is Happiness. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Let me show you. This is a wide quilt. This quilt ends up being, I don't know, like 85 by 85 or something like that. So I don't have a wingspan to hold this up. But here is the first two rows with the sashing. So I cut all 3 sashings, long, horizontal sashings that go between the rows. I got all of those done, and then we just have next week is the last block, and then I can put all of the rows together and then put a border on it. And so I'll talk about that the week after. So we basically have 2 more weeks for this particular Scrappiness is Happiness. But for those of you who have the book or thinking about getting the book, it has so many lovely projects in it. So many great projects. And if you like to keep scraps, Lori tells you her system for what sizes she keeps, and then those patterns have been using those sizes. Now you don't have to do it that way. You could just keep certain sizes and then cut for a project, whatever. But it's sort of nice that she's giving you that. Well, while we're here, let me just show you 2 other quilts off of the quilt shelf. Okay, I'm getting organized. So remember, these are quilts that need binding. And yes, we did them quite a while ago. You will recognize that. So they didn't have a purpose, and so I didn't take the time to put the binding on. That's basically how my brain operates. If they have an immediate purpose, they're quilted and put the binding on, but often if there's no purpose, it just will get on the shelf. And so now my goal is to try to get these all either binding on them by me or binding ready, and I'll just give them right to the charity group, and then they can put the binding on if I don't intend to use it for a little while myself. Okay, so here are the little bluebirds that we did. And this is a free pattern, and the link is in the description box below. And here it is with my birdsong fabric. Perfect, right? Little bluebird and the birdsong fabric. And so you can still get some of my birdsong fabric. Link is down below for that. And I am going to do this the light bluebird for binding. That fabric for the binding. So I have that. So that's what I'm going to do for binding on this one. And I think I'd like to I'm going to keep this one for a while because I do put up a lot of blue quilts at one point. Usually like in January, I like to put all blue quilts up and in my home. And so this will be staying with me for a while in order to do that. Oh, the backing. And the backing, I always forget. It's got it's one of the birdsong fabrics, one of the denser prints, and then yeah, I was just going to tell you something else about it, but I forget what that was. So if I remember, if it really was something, I will tell you. Okay, I've got 2 other ones to show you, but what I'm going to do, I know what I was going to show you, is the quilting. There we go. It's an overall with loops and flowers, so they're really pretty. Very sweet leaves, super cute. Okay, I have 2 more to show you, but I think what I'll do is get the stand out so I can hang them up and you can see them on the stand. And they also need binding. Yeah, the binding parade. That's what we're doing right now. Oops, look. I actually cut binding for the bluebirds in the darker blue. Okay, I'm sold. I don't have to cut any. I didn't remember. I have to sew it. It's not sewn, but hey, it's cut. I'm going to go with that. So we're going to change over to the darker blue instead of the lighter blue. So my sweater weather quilt is also on the docket today for showing you because it is on the short list for getting binding on. When I was showing you Wendy's Harrisonburg quilt, it really got me thinking about when we did this sweater weather quilt together and how we were using all the great novelty prints, and it was just so fun to do. This one, I'm going to get the other camera and show you. It is a close-up with a diamond, has like a grid, like a diamond grid, so let me show you that. Here it is up close. The quilting on this is a diamond. You can see it really well here. Here's the diamond, and then it has like cross hatching between it. That this is a done on long arm, digitized. But look at that. I love the texture of it. It's not. This one's pretty lined up, but they're not totally lined up. They do shift a little bit, like by the time you get over here. See, but. You'd have to do a little bit fancier work to get it lined up, which you could do, but I just thought I'd show you some of the fabrics again that I used. This was just an amazingly fun quilt to do, to go through and find all these lights. Look at the bears with the little crowns. Oh, he doesn't have a crown there. She has a crown. And the flamingos out here, the panda fabric. This is little sneaky pandas in there. Look at that. My text print, which I did on the vertical little houses. So I've been finding squares of this while I'm sewing the aqua, little squares of that. And speaking of that, let me show you this because it's right here where I am. My squares for the aqua and white. Look at this, a goat. One of our friends sent these in a package of turquoise, and she sent me some lights as well. So that's what I'm doing over in that pile. Okay, so let's go back here. What other things? Here's like the little honey bear that you squeeze the honey out of. Just so many cute things that I had so much fun doing for this quilt. So I wanted you to see the quilting on that, and the binding will be this blue. Our Jolly Bar quilt, we did this sew along earlier this year from Jolly Bar book 4. Was it earlier this year or last year? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. So it was from book 4, and I can't find my book 4. I just went looking. I found 1, 2, and 3 all together, nice and tidy. Where was 4? Nowhere to be found. So I'm going to have to hunt around, find where book 4 is hiding. The Jolly Bar is a pre-cut exclusive to the Fat Quarter Shop. It is 5 by 10, which is half of a layer cake. Can you see it's the same size as the book? Isn't that clever? See? So what we did was take blocks from book 4 and put it into the sampler that the Fat Quarter Shop designed. So you can see at my gallery the full quilt. I'll put it in the community page too. I'll take a picture of the full quilt and put it in the community page. But what's amazing for me is how the quilting on it really elevates the piece. It elevates your top so that it gives it texture and wave, and it's an additional design layer. Your quilting is an additional design layer on top of what you've already done. This particular quilt has a lot of background showing. So it really needed something that gave the quilt a little bit of life. And so let me show you up close what my long armor Karen put on there. When Karen and I get ready to work on a quilt together, for her to put the quilting on it, she will ask me things like, do I want a geometric? Do I want something with curves? Do I want something that looks a little bit more traditional or a little bit more modern? And then she goes and sends me a bunch of designs that she overlays onto the quilt. So, a picture of the quilt so that I can get an idea of how it will be. So this is this really neat swoopy kind of arcs. They're like several, like a wave almost, but they're very soft. So a wind, it kind of reminds me a little bit of wind. So like how would you draw wind, and then they go along. And I really think that was so effective in all of the background area for this quilt. So it gives this added texture out here. You can really see it here. It comes out from the block because there's a lot of that space that has to have something in it so it doesn't look flat and uninteresting. Here's all the way down. This is a big quilt. So let me show you the binding. I have pink gingham for the binding. That's what I think I'm going to use. I have enough of it, and there is pink gingham in the quilt. It is not the exact same pink gingham, which is fine. You can use something a little bit different. And the back on here is my Harmony wide back in the white. So I think that looks just so nice and fresh for this quilt. Okay, so let me just show you a few other things. When we were cleaning out some stuff, Greg found all of these. The blast from the past. So I thought I would show those to you. You can't see it back there, but these signs that have my name, like up here, see that one has my name, and then there's one in the back there. So because of videoing, it works really well to have my name back there, so you know whose video you're watching. But they were signs, both of those were signs in my booth at an event, generally the trade show. And these were all from the events as well. So here was, wait a second, gotta do this one first. This was my very first fabric line with P&B Textiles, called Old Blooms, and I kept the sign. So they're just on, it's a lightweight board. So these would be hanging either in the manufacturer's booth or in my display area, usually associated with their booth. And so here was a second one from, that was my second fabric line, which was Brambleberry Farms, also with P&B. And then So I kept the P&B ones, that the first couple, several, and then I didn't keep any more because they're kind of big to keep. They're kind of big to keep. And then I have one from my podcast. I did 10 years of, I created this podcast, and then I partnered, after I created it, ran it for a year and a half, I partnered with American Patchwork and Quilting magazine and produced, hosted, ran the entire show myself for the magazine for 10 years. And then the magazine decided to change the system up and have the editors do the podcast. And so it was a good 10-year reign. It was fun. And this is one of my, I love having that from then. And then here was another one. I'm not sure what event this was at. I don't know. It was probably one of my Moda booths or something when I was with Moda. And I'm with P&B now. And so I have, they do things differently. They don't have a sign like that from any of the lines, but that's okay because I don't know that I'm going to keep all these. They're just, I don't really have a place to keep them. I have the smaller ones with my name now, so that's good enough. But I thought you might enjoy seeing them. They're kind of a huge blast from the past for me. So another thing I did was change my ironing board cover. I know this has been super exciting, right? But I just want to show you the ironing board cover I got, because there's a few of them left. You might want one, but I want to show you why I like this one. That's the way it's construction. So I'm just going to bring the ironing board over here so I can angle the video. I got the ruler one. This is the bag it comes in. This bag is really nice. The weight of this is like a canvas, this cloth, which is what I like. I've had the Moda ones before, and for a while I had a different brand because there was no Moda ones to have when mine got really stained, and so and just, you know, it needed to be replaced. I like to have a clean looking ironing board cover. I don't like to work with really grungy equipment. So anyways, the bag is super cool. So if you get this, I am going to keep this and put my shoes in it for travel. I think it would be great to make it as a shoe bag, but you could have it, you could gift it with something in it. So cute. Okay, so here it is. It's got the, you know, this is not rulers to use on here. I would never use these. It's just the texture, and I like that it's kind of will blend into my room and my space here. So the feature that I like, let me just put it on end. And if you're wondering, my ironing board itself is from IKEA quite a few years ago now. But let me just tip this down. So the neat thing about these is it has a really big piece here that goes over the end. This is really deep, so it's very snug. Then it has two Velcros, see? So that the straps go here, and then one down here. And then at the bottom, I'll hold it up. See, it also has a really nice a piece that goes and wraps around the end of your ironing board. So I like those two features a lot because they really keep the iron snug and smooth, which is important. So while I'm here, while I have the ironing board here, I got a new tool. Whoops, hold on, my mic. Okay, I got a new tool for my wool mat. Have you seen these, the wool cleaning tool? So it is like a little bitty metal roller. Let me just get it out. So here it is, a little tiny metal roller. And what you do is just pretty simple. You just come along and you've got the threads on there, and it just sort of pulls them all together. It does, I find that, see there, it might grab onto them on here. It says you can use them on your carpet, which I think is pretty great. If you've got carpeting in your room, you're trying to get all this stuff off of it. So there. So it actually takes a little bit of that loose fuzz off the top, because I think as you're working, you know, this is wool, so it's creating a little bit of lint stuff on the top, and I like to kind of clean that off. There we go. So this is super cool. It is, I think, fairly new. So I just got it. Excited. My title of the video is Oops, I Didn't Get It Ready. That is the name of the game right now. It is warm out. It is a beautiful spring. I am trying to spend some time outside every day. And so that means I'm not always getting to everything inside, which is fine because it doesn't last long, does it? Soon it will be sweltering summer and we'll be inside in air conditioning. At least I will. So the two things that I didn't get ready was the trim around the Harrisonburg. I'm going to do probably a 2-inch strip all the way around the Harrisonburg quilt. Oh, it's heavy. This is just the top to get it ready to go and be long-armed. And then the summer memories. So I still need to cut up for the next group of blocks because we are doing, where is it? We're doing this beauty. And so I'm going to spend today, I'm going to get time to do both of those tasks today, and I will show you when I have them done. Hopefully tomorrow I will show those. So this is what it's like, just sort of working on different things. I want to show you kind of what's going on, where I'm thinking about stuff. So I'm so happy that you joined me, and I hope that you be inspired and you're inspired to do some of your own. Get your things going, move your things along. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.